Thank you so much, Janina, for being here on Mom Life Unfiltered. We are so happy to have you today. So happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm excited to talk to, other moms and creators and see what everybody else is doing, how they are surviving, how you are surviving.
I love that. I love that. And Janina, you are a mommy with a hobby, right?
Yes. Yes.
Can we-
I
Go
have
ahead.
2 kids. They are 2 and 5. And I also started a podcast at the end of last year. So yeah, that's my hobby. And then just mainly surviving the day and the month and the year, keeping my kids happy.
Yeah, and Janina is a fellow German. So what is your podcast about?
About moms.
About
Everything, all about mom life, being parents. Yeah. And I don't know, just whatever is going on. We talk about what we were up to during the week or what we have going on. And then we do like special topics about like the diet, differences from Germany to the US, like food difference between Germany and the
Mhm.
US, or just I don't know, just everything about the life here.
Can we talk about that too?
Yeah, I love that. I love because that's something I want to talk to you about. Like, what as a mom, and you're raising 2 little ones. How are you? Do you have concerns about the food in the U.S. versus the food in Germany? Like, how do you balance that?
I just usually try to read the labels, and I mean, I'm definitely not a pro. I really only know a few things to avoid, or, I know that vegetables are important. Everybody knows that fruits and veggies and just a balanced meal. And I have the certain products that I buy because I know the ingredients and I feel like they're safe. But I also feel like you never know. I was just talking to my friend about like ingredients, like food dye that is used here that's maybe banned in Europe or everywhere else. And there was an Instagram account that my friend and I both followed that talked about different stuff. And I started unfollowing because it's in stuff is in everything. There's always something, and then there's always something new, and I can't keep up.
Right.
Yeah.
I just try to cook at home a lot and do whatever I think is the best. But yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot out there.
We all know that it probably would be best to have your own vegetable garden, to have your own chickens, to have your own little farm, probably no matter where you live. But I mean, who can do that? Who has, like, first of all, the land, the time, just like everything you need to do, like, I would love to do that. I know, Malia, you're very into this, gardening and stuff. I would love if I could say, hey, like in a little fairy tale, hey, kids, let's go out and, let's get some carrots and some tomatoes and, like all the food we eat.
But then I want somebody else taking care of it, so I don't have to.
Right.
Exactly.
Because that's a full-time job. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say that, Janina, because I saw some videos too where I think they compared McDonald's fries from the UK to McDonald's fries from the US, and they say that the McDonald's fries from the UK has 3 ingredients because everything else is banned, and in the US they're like, I think, more than 20 ingredients.
Wow.
And that shit is scary, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't go to McDonald's almost never, but
But it's just French fries.
It's French fries.
It should be a universal thing.
What's going on? But they say they reuse the oil, the fat or whatever.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and they put they put chemical because they don't want to keep buying new oil, so they put chemicals in the oil to make it last longer. What's totally like completely forbidden in Europe. So,
welcome to America, a place where we benefit off of you being sick. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I had to.
No, I know it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. It's so difficult. You just, even when you buy like almond milk, the almond milk has tons of horrible things in it, and you're like, okay, I'm trying to now get a good milk, and there's always something in it, so it's kind of hard to kind of like move away from that. With you having, being online and sharing, your life and sharing your podcast, how do you navigate um, judgment, if any, on social media? How do you
If
deal with
any.
that?
I definitely get judged, and I sometimes, because I try to keep my account pretty active, my stories,
Mhm.
and I know if I post something that I'm like, I think this could be something that somebody will have something to say about, but I have gotten used, and I don't get that much hate, but I have gotten used to just mostly blocking it out.
Yeah.
Right.
When I had my son, he only had breast milk. That's all he had for 7 months, but he was a chunky little baby. I don't know how. Maybe it was buttermilk. I don't know what happened, but he was just round. I got so much hate that
Wow.
I need to start giving him some tea, white tea,
What?
as a meal, and like skip a milk and then give him tea or water. And why is he so fat? And what are you giving him?
Wow.
It's just breast milk. And
But
also, what do you care?
Wow.
you know what? I think that as much as I miss Germany and I love Germany, and sometimes like most German people, I feel like most of the people that follow you are Germans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just so judgmental.
Yes.
Like, I mean, there are haters out there everywhere, and also in the US, of course.
Yeah.
And even, with our business account where we don't rarely share anything private, like we have those haters. But I feel like Germans, like almost all German accounts I follow that are a little bit bigger, they have that problem. Like, and sometimes when I read the comments, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, do you have a life? Like,
I think that's a problem. I think that they're just unhappy with themselves.
Right.
Because why would you make such a comment about a baby? And
It's a
then
baby, right?
as a first time mom, I was super upset about it because I felt like I was doing something wrong.
Yeah.
What is that, Karina?
Yeah, I know. I think it's our name. I don't know what's going on. I don't see anything. I think it's probably some yard work or something in the neighbor's yard.
It's like really loud.
I can't turn it off.
Okay. It's okay. Well,
I can turn off my microphone.
It's okay. It's Mom Life Unfiltered, and we will continue. No, I think it's crazy that someone would think that their opinion matters, and I think social media has made it where it's like,
sorry, I'm just laughing at that.
Yeah, the noise. It's just kind of humming in the background. But it's one of those things like, how do you go about unplugging from social media? Do you unplug? Do you take long breaks, or are you constantly on? Like you said, keeping it consistent.
Well, since I do a lot, actually, I don't do a lot anymore, but I do some advertising through Instagram too. So I have to keep it active. And some days, I mean, my life is not that interesting. in some days I really don't have anything to say, but I feel
Right.
like I need to like be out there and share a photo. And I usually only do photos because I don't know, I don't like to always talk into the camera.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I think this year was the first time since I started being super active on him that I took a week off and we were filming. So I didn't have anything to say because I wasn't supposed to say anything about it yet. So I
Mm-hmm.
took a week off and it was so nice.
Oh,
It
that's
was really
amazing.
nice. And I didn't feel like I needed to keep checking my phone. And I don't have that many. I mean, I have a lot of followers, but I don't have that many followers. But I still can't keep up with my messages. And I usually try to at least send a little heart to a message if I get one, but I can't to everybody. It drives me crazy because I know everybody takes time to message me and I can't answer
Right.
them.
Right. And how was that week where you just were unplugged? How was that? Like, was there a difference with how you were with your children? Like, did you feel like you can be more present because you were unplugged from social media, or there wasn't a difference?
No, I really enjoyed it. And I
Mm-hmm.
catch myself all the time that I spend too much time on my phone when
Mm-hmm.
my kids are around. And that because I didn't feel the need that I had to take a million photos a day, it was really nice. And I was more present. And it also reminded me or, like made me realize that I spent too much time on my phone. It's just I put it in a drawer during the day now a lot of times that way because when you have your phone sitting out and you walk by it, of course you're going to touch the screen really quick just in case you miss something, and it's such
Right.
a bad habit.
Yeah, I'm completely understand that because it's the same for me. I'm always like, and I try to stop sleeping with my phone next to me, but it's hard. Like my phone is on the nightstand, or I've gotten it to the point where it's not in the bed. It's on a table next to the bed, but I'm like, oh, this is not good because then first thing
Oh.
in the morning, I'm on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I roll over and I grab my phone and I don't even take the time to like collect myself from waking up. Do you find that you deal with that as well? Or is it like you have a morning practice?
No, I'm kind of the same way because because with the time change too or time difference to
Mm-hmm.
Europe, we like the emails I get that I actually have to answer, they come in overnight. So then I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what do I have to take care of today? And I check my phone. But I don't know, I've also gotten in the habit of we don't have a TV in the bedroom, but
That's
I take
nice.
forever to no, well, wait. I take forever to fall asleep. So I
Mm-hmm.
watch TV on my phone.
Okay. So you
So
have
it's
a
still
mini
there.
TV.
It's
You have a
still
mini TV.
yeah. So that's something I need to work on figuring out, or maybe starting to get back into reading. I have so many books I want to read, and the evening would be perfect.
What's a book that's on your list to read? It doesn't matter if it's an
Ooh.
American book or not. Curious.
Uh, let me check my nightstand. I don't see it. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's like a love story or something. I don't read anything educational. I just read feel good books if I
I
read.
love that. I love that. I need to get more into like feel good books, fiction books, because I'm always
Yeah.
reading educational.
But
Um,
that's probably better to do than just yeah.
no, reading is reading. As long as you're doing it, that's all that matters. Honestly, it really just depends. It's just we are not reading anymore. Like
Hmm.
humans, you know what I mean? We're so used to receiving like information on a video or we listen to it that we're not actually sitting and reading it, even a physical book. Now there's, we know
Hmm.
there's Kindle and there's digital books. So it's like, it's not something that we're actually doing. Oh, Karina, you're unmuted. Great.
I am. It's still, the humming is still going, the garden work is still going on.
Is it a
But
big yard?
I'll give these ladies a little quiet moment, so I muted. But I think we can all relate to that. Probably all of us who listen right now can relate to the phone thing and trying to be more present. And then for me, it's also, I have the problem that when I see somewhere online that this or that mom takes whatever time each day, like has a schedule with the phone, like a schedule with apps or with the phone. I'm like, I feel pressure, like immediately. I feel like, oh, you got to do this, like, I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but it's like, it puts me under pressure and I'm like, oh, you're not, I don't know, this whole social media thing just makes me constantly feel like I'm not good enough. I need to do better.
Yeah, but a lot of people make themselves, I think, look better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's you have a point, Janina, because that is exactly what they're doing. They're like only putting up the highlights of their life and not putting up real life. And then everybody is seeing that and then reacting to it. Like, because I know how you feel, Karina. I can relate. And then you literally sit there and you go, oh, I could be doing better. But you're already doing fine. You know what I mean? But then when you see it, you're like, maybe I can do this better. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can. And those things sit in the mind. And then we're just judging and critiquing ourselves throughout the day, which is why I think it's important for us to try our best to have like social media unplugs like you did for a week. I mean, I don't know when I'm ever going to do that, but maybe one day I will.
That's amazing.
You should.
But for me, it's also, my kids are a little bit older than yours, Janina, but, sometimes they would, and my daughter knows how to get me, of course. Like she would say things like, your phone is more important than I am.
Oh.
But yeah, what I would have to do is, so I have a lot of, just like you, Janina, a lot of work on my phone. Mm-hmm. So I would either have to stay away from the house when the kids are at home and finish the work, or when I'm at home, like completely put the phone away.
Mm-hmm.
Like completely. And it's hard. Like it's
is that sustainable? That's the question.
That's just hard when your kids start to say things like that,
How old are your kids?
Lily is 8 and Finn is 11.
So when do they have a phone yet? When
No.
At what age do you get them a phone? Because my friend that I do the podcast with, we talked about that. At what age do you give them a phone? Because when I still lived in Germany, I think I had a phone at the very end. So at like, I don't know, 14, 15, I think is when did I? Maybe, I think so. Yeah, it was a little, you pushed each number 3 times to get the C, and super annoying.
Right.
But kids now get it earlier.
I know, they get it. So here, apparently now there's a rule. So my son just got to middle school, 5th grade. And apparently it's a rule that every kid that goes to middle school gets a phone. What? And we were really clear with our kids from like, whenever, like even kids in Lily's classes have phones. Like they, sit on the bus with their phone. They're 8, 7, 8. Like what? So we were really clear from the very beginning that they won't get a phone until they're 16. And
I think that's a good age.
I have a lot. I think even they should even get them later in my mind. But we have a lot of arguments with them about it. And I tell my son, I say, I know you hate me for this, and I'm going through hell with that. You asking me constantly and telling me that you're the only kid, but you will thank me later. And I don't care how many swear words you're going to tell me and how bad of a mother you think I am right now. You're going to thank me later.
And it might take him 20 or 30 years to thank you. Like it might.
So that's something that, where we just, and I'm glad my husband and I are on the same page about that, but they know, and they just know they won't get a phone anytime
It's
soon.
actually good that you're protecting them from not having a phone so early, because children who do have phones, there's like statistics out that suicide rates are up higher because they're so plugged in and comparing themselves constantly and not feeling like they're good enough. You know what I mean? They're having that same feeling, and that's not good. It's a child. You know,
And
they
I
don't have
think,
the tools.
and I think, like, I think society doesn't, like, we don't know what bad comes from just what's the word? Like, we don't have any, and there are no rules about
Right.
using devices yet.
Right.
There are rules about, not using alcohol, cigarettes, drugs,
Right.
whatever. But I think and I'm sure there will be rules in like 30 years whenever they see what they actually would happen to this generation.
Yeah, the harm
And
that
then
is
the
caused.
bullying that they do too,
That
like
too.
middle and
Mhm.
high school online bullying, that has to be a whole
Yeah.
It's a whole different
level.
thing. Right.
Because you can hide behind a profile and
Yeah.
Because listen, the judgment that you're talking about, there's adult bullies. There's bullying for all ages out there right
Yeah.
now. And it's just horrible. So do you find, are your children not having any screen time at all? This is a
Mine?
question for both of you.
Okay. My kids get a little bit of screen time.
Okay.
We probably still too much. I would love to keep it under 30, but it's usually more like 45. Not every
Okay.
day, but they do have screen time.
Okay. And what about you, Karina?
We don't have screens. Just kidding.
I was like, wow.
No screens at all, except for my phone. I'm allowed to use screens, but no, I'm just kidding. They get probably more than they should. Like, they also don't have their own iPads. So
That's good.
Finn uses my iPad to play 30 minutes, like a soccer FIFA game on my iPad a day. And then, and then they're allowed to watch like 30 minutes of TV. So they probably get an hour of screen time every day. We used to have one day with no screens, and I think we should do that again, because that's just like no parents are not allowed to use screens. Kids are not allowed to use screens. At least one day,
like a Sunday. That'd be nice,
man. And that's also something I hear. Really, I hear moms that say that we don't have screens at all, or moms that say we can only on the weekends. I'm like, man, this is like, I feel so bad. What kind of mother am I?
No, I mean that, right. So this is the thing. It's like, you can't compare, because we don't even know if these moms are telling the truth.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, we don't even know if these moms are just saying this because it's a part of their brand, and then
But
really
then
their
on the
children
other
have
hand-
all this screen time.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, I hear, my kids obviously tell me, my friends they have their own iPad and they can play whenever they want. And I'm sure that's not true either. But I'm sure that there are like parents out there too that really don't care about how much screen time their kids have.
Well, no, because every time I've gone out to eat and there's a child at the table, this is such a topic. I see that child with an iPad, and that child's not in conversation with the rest of the family. That child's kind of in their own bubble, just completely plugged into technology. When the food comes, they kind of snack and continue to watch. And meanwhile, everyone else is talking. I have seen a situation where the parent has taken away the phone or the iPad from one of their children, and the child sits there and has doesn't know what to do or how to socialize. And this is like a child that's kind of older, maybe preteen or early teen, and they're sitting there frozen. Like they don't know how to engage and connect. And so I'm like, wow, look at these younger generations. Like they don't know how to, without a screen, that's their main form of connection. They think connectivity, they're connecting with people online, but in real life, they're lost. And that's because the parents have allowed the children to have the screens in front of them for years. And that's their way of, that's how they socialize. And when they're actually in a situation where they need to be present and connect with family, they can't.
Yeah.
I will say it. We have done it once.
I was going to say, Maria, before we judge those parents, we should probably ask Janina.
Look,
I did always judge other families too. I'm like, man, look at this. They can't even keep their child entertained. And then one day when my son, how old was he? Like not a year and a half, more like, I think closer to 2, we went out for my husband's birthday. We went to a nicer restaurant and we decided before we went, okay, instead of having to scarf down our food because our son will be done by the time we get our food and then we won't be able to enjoy this overpriced meal, let's just give him some screen time so we can actually enjoy the food that we're paying so much for. But I also felt really bad about it later. I'm like, man, was it really worth it? Maybe we should have just stayed home or ordered in.
But you know
we
what
were those parents once.
You know what the problem with that is? It's not the parents that give their kids the screens. It's the society that we live in, I think. It's not okay if kids sit in a restaurant in America and act out or are loud or like we took our daughter to the restaurant the other day. My son was at his first ball, school ball. So that was very exciting. So Ben and I took Lily out. And she was like, lying on we had like a booth. She was lying on there. We do not do screen times at a restaurant because I think a child has to learn how to deal with that situation without and if there's a meltdown, there's a meltdown. And then I'll take the kid outside and it's okay. But it's the looks that you get from the other tables and from the waiters and, like if my daughter is lying down or crawls under the table to play with her dolls there, or you know what I mean? So I think we should start there instead of blaming these parents who get screens.
That's actually true. And I should have asked Janina if she did that before putting in my opinion, because here,
no, that's fine.
I'm a person, I'm a woman without a child, right? And then I'm witnessing parents and their children plugged into screens. Okay. Yeah. And so it's easy for me to go, wow, you know what I mean? And have that observation. But I think, from the other side, from you guys' side, you're like, I want to enjoy my food. I shouldn't have to be judged if my children don't have screens and my child's having a meltdown, which goes into, in America, everything needs to be perfect. Your child should be well behaved. Your child should all the manners need to be already embedded and ingrained into your child's head at the age of 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Your child shouldn't be on the floor. Your child shouldn't throw anything. Your child shouldn't scream. Your child shouldn't do any of these things. And it's that really stifles a child and limits a child and then makes a child feel like everything that they're doing when they're out in public is wrong. And then they start to inherit complexes about themselves. So,
I mean, it's probably the same in Germany. I would say it's not like Germany is very open to a screaming child.
No one is, especially on an airplane.
There are European countries that are definitely ahead of the German culture and the American culture for sure.
I had an idea, and I told this to my partner. I don't know what you guys think, but I thought that at these amazing restaurants there should be a child's room, and the children go into the room and they're able, and the door is kind of soundproof, right? I'm, I'm just sharing my vision, but they're there, they're out to eat, and they can have fun and connect with other children and play and run, but also they can come back to the table, eat, and be with the family, but they also get the chance so that other people are not complaining and going, that child is loud, that child's complaining, that child is crying, that child is doing this, and we're here paying customers. We don't want to deal with hearing that. I'm like, well, why can't there be an area for children to really let loose in the restaurant?
There are actually restaurants in Germany. I don't know how it is in other European countries. I've never seen one in America, but where my kids would be too old for it now, but they have like play corners where they're like, they can play with dolls or they can draw. Or restaurants where they have like a playground attached to the outside.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, and I think I've never seen it in America.
I've never seen it.
We have some here, but yeah.
You do?
Cool.
We have a couple. They're not enclosed rooms. There are 2 restaurants around here. They have like a little section on the side, and we usually try to sit close to them. That way we can see our kids. And then we have in our area, there's a food truck lot that opened, and they have a playground on the
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
on the property. Yeah.
Where are you again? You're in North California, right?
You're Portland.
Portland.
Oh, Portland.
She's in Portland.
Oh,
Yeah.
for some reason I thought you were in California.
She's in Portland.
On the colder level up there.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are in the colder area too. Or, I mean, in the winter, I guess.
Yeah.
But, right? Yeah.
Yes. Malia is never in the cold.
Where are you?
I'm in the cold now. Do you see this? I'm currently in California in the Bay.
Oh, okay.
It's next to San Francisco. Yeah. But predominantly I'm always in the heat because I'm based in the Yucatan in Mexico. So
okay.
I'm always like very hot and I love it. I love it. I think that restaurants need to implement that more so that parents can feel like ease when they go out to eat and they know that their child can actually still be a child and not have to be so buttoned up at the table. You know what I mean?
And I think that would be such an attractive thing for parents. Because I know I have friends that
Karina's
they
like,
don't
no.
usually go out.
Yeah, no, I'm totally green. Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, no, that's fine. I have friends that don't usually go out to eat because their kids go wild in the restaurant and they don't want to deal with it. But if the restaurants would advertise like, hey, we have a kids corner or a little room or something, I think it would be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you feel about, I saw on your page when your little one graduated from kindergarten?
Oh, don't remind me.
That's what I want to talk about. How do you feel about those transitions? Like parents are constantly having to go through those transitions of your child graduating from kindergarten and then from elementary school and then from middle school and high school and beyond. That's a constant transition that especially moms have to deal with consistently, but I don't even know if they have the space and time to deal with it because it's a little bit of grief and we don't see it as grief and we don't see it as like, this is the death of something. And this is the newness, the new beginning of, my child getting older and growing up more. And so it's just, I wonder, like, how did you deal with that? Did you give yourself the space to like deal with that grief? Or did you kind of like?
I just cried it out right at the ceremony. I really did. It was really cute. They had from the preschool made all the kids walk out in their gown and they would announce what they want to be when they grow up. And the first kid walked out, and I didn't even know the kid, and I started crying.
Oh,
And yeah, but I cry about everything. It doesn't take a lot for me to cry.
That's good.
But but yeah, it's such a tricky thing because it's so exciting. It's such a big thing to finish and to start now elementary school. And that's a big accomplishment.
yeah.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's also so sad because I still see him as that chunky little baby, but he's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of, yeah. I definitely get into those, when you get like photo reminders on your phone. My
Mhm.
husband and I, every now and then, will sit on the couch at night and just look at the 4 years ago. This is what we're doing that day. And then you kind of go into
Mhm.
this down this rabbit hole and look at all the baby
Mhm.
photos.
That's really
Alina,
sweet.
your kids, were they born in Germany or in the US?
Mm. In the US.
Okay. Well, what I struggled with a lot, I mean, you know that probably, but you with your kids didn't go through that. But you know how we have in Germany, we have the Eingewöhnungszeit.
Mm-hmm.
So in Germany, and I'm sure in other European countries too, when your kid goes to so we call it kindergarten. So,
The
Mhm.
preschool.
and
Yeah.
they go to preschool, it's our kindergarten until they go to school.
Mhm.
Um, you can stay with your kid, but you can go into the first 2 or 3 weeks, you can go into the kindergarten with your kid together and wait. Like the first day, it's just for an hour. So the kid just has to spend in that environment, that new environment for like
Right.
an hour. And you're always there. Like you never leave as a mom or as a dad, whoever does it. And then the second day, it's maybe 1 or 2 hours, and it gets more and more like over like
Wow.
3 weeks until the kid feels comfortable in the new environment with the new people. And I remember when we got to the US, we went to Colorado. Lily was 3, Finn was 6, and we put them into a Waldorf school. And even there, I mean, look, they didn't know anything. We visited America before, and Ben speaks English with them, but they didn't know anything about this country. So we went to the new school, and they're like, all right, just, bye. And Lily she was traumatized by that. It was so hard.
Mm.
Like not only for her, I mean, obviously for me too, but I think, Malia, why is there nothing like that here? It's just like, I don't get it. It's
We're like, drop them off, pick them up. It's not, I've never heard of anything like what
And
you're describing.
they always say at the drop when you go pick them up, oh, they were fine 2
Yeah.
minutes after you left. But then I
Yeah.
always wonder, was it though? Are you just
Were
trying
they
to make me
fine?
feel better?
Exactly. Like everything is always fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. And it's not. So how do you feel about, because you came to America as a teenager, right,
Mhm.
Janina? How do you feel about like the expectations that are placed upon moms here versus in Germany? Like, do you feel that there's a stark difference in contrast?
I don't really know.
Mm.
I let's see. I don't have a ton of friends in Germany that have kids there. So I
Mm.
don't have the comparison to friends in that regard. I have friends that moved to the US for a few years.
Mhm.
And then they just this year moved back with their kids. So I
Okay.
don't have anybody that that had kids there and grew up.
Do you know, Karina? Do you have is there a difference? Because you've had more time.
A what?
The expectations of mom that America has for moms here versus there in Germany.
Um, It's a good question.
Well, I think here it's more because it's a whole different system than in Europe. Here you have a kid and then you're expected to function immediately
Yeah,
Right.
and go back to work, and like
Mhm.
nothing happened except that you just had a baby.
that's true.
Right. Yeah, and it's the biggest thing that happened. You had a baby. Right.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, you are. I know that here you are expected to plug back in and be a machine
Mhm.
and work. And then even like sometimes moms feel guilt for maternity leave. They're not actually honoring it. They feel horrible that they take the leave. And then when they come back, they overwork themselves because they were gone because they had a baby. And then they're like
Mhm.
plugged in, working nonstop. But I wonder if, if there was anything that came up for you, Karina. But if not,
I would have to agree with Janina, probably. Yeah.
When
okay.
Yeah.
when I had my son, my husband it was in Texas. He actually got 6 weeks paternity leave, which was very nice for companies in Texas. Up here, we the husband, or not the husbands, but the partner, the supporting partner, I think can take up to 3 months, which is awesome.
Wow.
But in Texas, he got 6 weeks from the company, and his manager then was like, he missed one day when his kids were born and went straight back to work. So he asked him, "Are you going to take it, the paternity leave?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm planning on it." And he obviously couldn't say it because that would be against the policy, but he strongly encouraged him to not take the full
Yeah.
6 weeks. And he
Wow.
ended up taking 2 weeks. And my son was born on January 1st. So he came back after, in the middle of the month, and he had to hit a certain amount of like his numbers every month. So he came back to work, and his manager was like, "Oh, hey, how are you? How's the baby? Cool. So you're not hitting your numbers for the month?" And he was like, "Yeah, we just had a baby. I just came back." And he said, "Well, did you not know you were having a baby?" So then
Ooh.
he had to feel bad for taking the time off
Yeah.
to get to know our son
Mm,
and for helping me out, and
That's
immediately
mm.
got
so sad.
looked down on at work.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Ugh. That just gave me like
Yeah.
just made me cringe that and I know that he's just one of a million stories. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
with men and women, like this is the case. Like get back to the grind, work, you know.
Mhm.
So, whew. Um,
Yeah.
well, we have time for one more question, one more area
Okay.
topic. Let's see. What advice would you give to moms that are, I guess, new, or like, what advice would you give to new moms is what I'm asking. My brain had a whole blitz. Yeah.
Okay, see. Always have snacks when they're older, but I I would love to say be organized and plan, or actually, yes, try that. I can't. That is not me. I work best under pressure and last minute. I can get a lot of stuff done when it's about to be due. But just do whatever works for you and your family
Mm.
and your kids, and not what Instagram is pretending to be.
Love that.
Yeah, that's really great advice. I love it. Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us and to share. And I really loved our exchange. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you, Janina.
really excited to see all the other episodes you are putting together.
Thank you.